Hello and welcome to my channel. For today's video, I am doing a redesign of the Alice in Wonderland. I don't know why I've been obsessed with it recently. And of course, there's been many alterations of Alice in Wonderland, from the cartoon to the one starring Johnny Depp to other ones just completely. So I think I just want to give like a small little spin on mine and just talk about what I want to do for it. For this first one, I don't usually ever do my favorites first. I usually save them for last. But I am completely doing my favorite first, and I'm gonna tell you why. So for this first one, I really wanted to get the Mad Hatter presence just down. And one of the main things I think I liked about like just Mad Hatter's like section or part of his world was the fact that everything was floating. So I started blocking out the furniture and then having like the different shades of it before officially going back in and then adding more details. I really did like this version of Mad Hatter. I have seen somebody make Mad Hatter darker in the skin, and I've always liked that type of skin color for Mad Hatter, so I definitely took it. I can't remember who did it. I'll try to see if I can, but if I don't, I probably just won't put it. Probably the hardest thing was making everything look like it was floating or in the air. And it was really hard for me to see it because I haven't added a ground, haven't had shadows to the ground, haven't really had anything to it yet. So honestly, I was just working like with a complete new slate and just working in the back of my mind for it. Like I know I wanted some things to be certain places, like like the glass tipping over with the drink spilling out, or the chair being highlighted a certain way. But I definitely needed to learn how to get it perfectly if I was even going to even continue with this type of drawing. Now, for one thing, I can't really put a pinpoint on Mad Hatter's exact style. I would call it like somewhat whimsical, a little bit fun. But the one I really wanted to lean into for mine was steampunk. I've seen watched like a lot of Arcane, and I absolutely just fell in love with the steampunk like style of like the gadgets and fixtures and small accessories. So I think that's why in the end, like I put like a corset, like a little small like frill, and just added some other accessories to make it as close to steampunk as possible, without completely just diluting who the Mad Hatter is, like a crazy person or eccentric, more like it. So overall, after I add like the background and everything, it looks, I don't know, maybe he should have been floating as well. I just think I wanted him to be on the ground, just leaning on top of floating things, but in the end, I think I should have made him floating as well. Of course, I could like go back and fix it eventually, but for this drawing, I really just wanted to show my favorite parts of it and what I truly enjoyed, and this was making this art just. Now, if you want to talk about an artwork piece that took forever, this is the one. In total, I believe I made 5 different like canvases for this one character. And the character is Cashmere Cat. I didn't know how close to human I could go without one, taking away his animal-like features, or just completely just making him human altogether. And I kept balancing out, but I just didn't really feel comfortable with it, or I didn't like it as much. And so in the end, I ended up going for like, I don't know, something a little bit more childlike outfit, and something just to give him like, oh, he's just a trickster, more like, maybe like a little gesture of some sorts. I definitely would go back and change it now. I looked at it sometimes, I'm just like, oh, like maybe a design earlier I was thinking in my head could have suited this so much better. But I did like the background. I was working on adding the trees, which you'll see later. I absolutely love the nails. Of course, a cat has to have their nails. And then the smile was something I toned down a little bit. Because it looks cool on a cat, but for a human being, absolutely not. I couldn't even imagine it. So it was like terribly creepy, and the way I wanted it to do originally, he was supposed to be in like on the trees, like staring back at you. But I don't know, maybe for a human, he would be a little bit more down, maybe a little bit more playful, maybe a little more interactful with Alice per se. So I wouldn't really know what to do with that, more like it. While for the Mad Hatter, I changed his skin tone and basically went a little bit wild with his color palette. It might as be as good as the original. I decided to try to stick to as closely as possible for the color palette for him. I just didn't want to branch out too far, especially just assign a random skin color or just completely just change who Cashmere Cat is. Cause part of me do want him just to be like a playful, funful cat. I didn't know how to tell for some reason. I think maybe I just in my head wanted him to be a little bit more human than what I thought. So I didn't give him a tail, but I just tried to stick to the blue part, especially because I wanted to add like this little ghostly hue to him after I was done. It's probably one of my favorite characteristics about him, other than being a cat. I just wanted him to look as ghostly, like, oh, he is a ghost, so I guess most closely to that ghost as possible. Is like just walk around the forest whenever he wants to, and also just love his overall funness. Now I know in the cartoon Alice in Wonderland, he's like pink and purple. I didn't like that. I didn't want not want to go for that, especially in the woods at nighttime. It just made it look a little bit too weird and make it a little more funny. It really would soften out who he is, I guess, per se. Who he is, if I know him. But my thing is, I just wanted to go with the blue parts for it. So after I had the highlights, I tried to make it look as ghostly as possible. And I was done right there. I loved this one. And while it did took a while, I finally got it. I really just overall had fun in the end. I just wanted to make sure everything was perfect for it. Now for this last one, it's a little bit different because I didn't really redesign Alice at all. I think I just wanted to just redraw her in like a fun little way. I know the whole point was redesigns, but I think I just wanted to draw Alice just on my own. I mainly went off the cartoon inspired version, which is different from what I've been doing, but I think I just like the cartoon outfit way better than the live action one. I think it's because it had like a nice bit of wonder, and it also emphasizes how much of a child she was. But in the movie, she's getting married to a whole bunch of, well, she's getting married to this guy, and she's like way too young for it, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. And so I just really wanted to emphasize that childlike um characteristic. One thing I did add was a huge bow to the back. I'm obsessed with bows with like any outfit. If you put like a bow in the back, it's perfect for me. I've been playing like a lot of like fashion games recently, if you know, you know. But I just been like loving like the thought of just bows and cute little outfits and making stuff as frilly and as detaily accessorized as much as possible. I think that's what you would call it. Like I'm terrible with like words right now. But yeah, I'm starting off with just adding just Alice and just like she's falling, because of course she's falling after she go follows the rabbit. She falls anytime. I don't know, she's just a faller apparently. But I just really wanted to emphasize with like the transition to like a crazy world she's going to. So after I added her base color, I do start working on the background. And honestly, this was a really fun background for me to work on because I didn't really put like things in the background. It was just more of like a feeling inside the background. Which of course I do like putting feelings inside of a background. And of course I do like my objects and stuff. I both like them equally, but they both have like their own ups and downs. Like I said, I do add like a huge red bow. That's like the major thing I've changed about it. Everything else I just kept the same. I just didn't want to mess with her design all too much because honestly, I really do like it. It's not too bad for me. If you don't know, I have been recently working on like trying to make sure that all my characters don't really blend in with one another. And what I mean by this is like working on side profiles, working on angles, working on perspectives. And I really do want to experiment more with that. And of course, as you've seen recently by my intro and anything else, I've been working a little bit on animation. So if you have any like suggestions or soft like tips to give me, definitely put them down in the comments below. I really do want to learn different types of ways to make my art better. And then for this one, do start working on it, and eventually I will add the pink in the background just to give it a little bit more like a twisted Wonderland feel. So overall, I had absolute fun with this, and tell me what you think down below. Alright, that's going to be it for my Alice in Wonderland redesign. have anything you want to say, please comment down below. And if you want to see, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.